Hey there. Have you ever heard that wealthy people actually use debt to increase their wealth? It may sound strange because most of us are taught that debt is something to avoid at all costs. But in the world of the rich, borrowing money can be a smart and powerful strategy. Surprising, right? To understand this, we first need to clarify what debt really is. Simply put, debt means borrowing money that you plan to pay back later. Many of us grew up hearing from our parents that taking loans is always a bad idea. However, this rule doesn't apply the same way to billionaires. The reason is simple. Not all debt is the same. There are two main types of debt. The first is good debt, which means borrowing money to purchase things that can generate more money for you. For example, imagine taking a loan to buy a rental property that brings in rent every single month. That's good debt. On the other hand, there is bad debt, which is when you borrow money for items that don't produce any income. Using a credit card to buy the latest smartphone might feel great, but it doesn't help your finances grow at all. In short, wealthy people rely on good debt to acquire income-producing assets. Instead of spending their own cash, they borrow money and invest it into things like real estate, stocks, or businesses. These assets create income and profits over time. They carefully structure these deals so the money they earn each month is higher than their loan payments. This way, they can earn extra income while keeping their own money untouched. Another important point is that rich people strongly dislike paying high taxes. Since borrowed money is not considered income, it isn't taxed. Even though interest must be paid on debt, it still reduces their overall tax burden. This legal method of minimizing taxes is known as tax avoidance, and it helps them keep more of their wealth. It's important to understand that tax avoidance is completely legal and very different from tax evasion or fraud, which are illegal. I'll go deeper into this topic in the next video. Now let's break down how good debt actually works in practice. The first method is the real estate strategy. Wealthy people love real estate, especially the ultra-rich. They often use mortgages, which are large loans used to purchase property. A well-known example is Robert Kiyosaki. He buys properties using mortgages and then rents them out. Let's say a house costs $200,000. He might take out a $200,000 mortgage at a 5% annual interest rate, resulting in a monthly payment of about $1,350. Then he rents the house for $1,500 per month. The tenant's rent essentially covers the mortgage payment, while he still pockets a $150 profit each month. Once the mortgage is fully paid off, he keeps the entire $1,500 as profit, all without using his own money. As property values rise over time, his wealth grows even more. The second method is the investment strategy. In this case, a wealthy person borrows money at a lower interest rate and invests it where the return is much higher. For instance, imagine borrowing $100,000 at a 7% interest rate. That means paying $7,000 per year in interest. If that same $100,000 is invested in something that earns a 15% return, it generates $15,000 annually. After subtracting the $7,000 interest cost, the investor is left with an $8,000 profit. Even after accounting for taxes and fees, there is still money left over. The third method is known as the buy, borrow, die strategy. It sounds intense, but the idea is simple. Step 1. A wealthy person buys $100,000 worth of assets that increase in value, such as stocks or real estate. Step 2. Instead of selling those assets when cash is needed, which would trigger taxes, the person borrows $20,000 from a bank using those assets as collateral. Since loans are not taxed, this provides tax-free cash while the assets remain untouched. Step 3. Over time, those assets grow from $100,000 to $150,000, creating a $50,000 gain. When the person passes away, their child inherits the assets now worth $150,000. Due to tax rules, the child doesn't owe taxes on the $50,000 increase that happened during the parent's lifetime. If the child later sells the assets when their value reaches $160,000, taxes are only paid on the $10,000 gain after inheritance. It's almost like getting a free pass in Monopoly. The fourth strategy is the leveraged buyout. Here's how it works. First, a wealthy individual identifies a company with strong potential for improvement. Second, they borrow a large sum of money to purchase the company. This process is called a leveraged buyout. Third, they focus on improving the company's performance and profitability. The profits generated by the business are then used to repay the loan. Finally, once the company is stronger and the debt is paid off, it is sold for a higher price, creating a profit. You might ask why wealthy people choose debt instead of using their own money. As mentioned earlier, borrowed money isn't taxed. On top of that, they don't have to risk their personal cash to make more money. In a way, it feels like accessing money at a very low cost. But using debt isn't always easy or risk-free. There are real dangers involved. If property values drop or a business fails to perform as expected, losses can occur and loan repayments can become a problem. That's why wealthy individuals diversify their investments and carefully analyze every loan they take on. A famous real-world example is Elon Musk. He is one of the richest people on the planet, yet he holds very little cash. Financial experts often say that money sitting in a bank account isn't working for you, and Elon Musk clearly lives by that rule. Most of his wealth is tied up in company shares like Tesla and SpaceX, not in cash. He has even admitted that he has taken bank loans to cover everyday expenses. So why doesn't Elon Musk simply sell his shares and take the cash? The reason is simple. He wants his money to keep working for him. Selling his stock would reduce his future income and weaken his control over his companies. If you'd like me to create more videos explaining ideas like these, make sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.